Hello everyone and welcome back to my Devil May Cry 5 Dante Must Die S-Rank video walkthrough. This is mission 19, Virgil. So this is the Virgil boss fight, and I have to say I'm sorry the video didn't come out sooner, but you know, a few things have been happening recently, so this will be shortly after Virgil's release. But we're not here to talk about that. I will give my thoughts in another video probably. Anyway, for this fight, what you want to do is, and I know it might sound a bit intimidating, is Royal Guard those swords, the summon swords. In order to get the, I'm not doing a very good job. In order to get the S rank in this mission, you kind of need to do this. Because I tried to do it a few times without the Royal Guard, and it didn't really work out to the best. It didn't really work out the best. It was close. But when you start parrying the summon swords, and they aren't that hard to parry, just hit the button when they're coming towards you. I wouldn't recommend the jump garden, because it's kind of hard to do that. Now that you don't need the Royal Guard any other attack. I just did it because I went for it, you know. But just Royal Guard the summon swords, and you will jump up to a triple S pretty fast. And from there, now what I didn't want to do is play like a, go super nuts on this guy and stuff like that, like Royal Guard all his attacks and stuff. You know, I was trying to last time I played the game was Royal Guard all this guy's attacks and get really good at it and not take any damage. But what I wanted to do for the moment was just kind of show you how you should kind of play, and a very safe way to play. So, in my opinion, try and farm again this stage for SDT and DT. Farm the first Virgil phase for free SDT and Devil Trigger, and also health. You can farm for your health as well. Here I want to try something a little bit different. It doesn't really work out. Oh, and see this? See Round Trip? See Swordmaster with Round Trip? It is one of the best moves to use on Virgil. He can do nothing to counter Round Trip. It is insane what you can do to this guy. Bad, good. There we go. See, but see, this will make all the difference at the very end. And you don't have to use the SDT if you don't want to. I tried to use it and I didn't really use it to any great effect. Because, I think what happens is he gets knocked out of the hitbox or something. But what you're doing, you're basically in this first phase, and unfortunately it's probably one of the longest phases. Phase 1, you're setting yourself up for a good phase 2 and a good phase 3. Because in phase 2, Virgil's now going to use Doppelganger. And Doppelganger can hurt bad. Not when Nero can counter Doppelganger so easily it's not even bother. Dante on the other hand, with how screwy the lock-ons are in this game, it's kind of hard to counter it properly. What you really want to do, and there's my PS4 controller, kept disconnecting, sorry about that guys. What you really want to do is Round Trip constantly in phase 2. You want to try and get the lock-on to the summoned Virgil, or the Doppelganger, and Round Trip him. He won't be able to parry it and I'll kill him pretty fast. Also, another good tip here. Try and build up the Royal Guard gauge as much as you can, because that's as much damage as you can do to Virgil. And then try and Royal Release Virgil, because that's the most damage you can do to enter phase 2, and that sets you up pretty well. Now, from what I've noticed, and from the testing I've done, I made sure to test this, Virgil doesn't regenerate HP. However, what he will do is get a small boost in his HP pool. And I've noticed this because I have beaten Virgil down to just a bit below where we are now, and it may not be in this video. I didn't really take too much time to look at his health pool. Oh yeah, see, look there, he healed. So Virgil gets one big heal, well, one semi-big heal. Thankfully, Virgil doesn't have as much HP as the other bosses in this game. And right now, Round Trip is going to be your best friend, because Round Trip, I can't even describe how useful it is. If you've ever fought Virgil without Round Trip and then fight him with it, you'll know how much of a difference it is. Because it stuns him, it keeps him it can stun DT Virgil, so it's extremely powerful. I want to try and knock him out of this. I know you can, but once again I forgot a lot of my knowledge behind Virgil, but but my knowledge still still isn't there quite yet with Dante. And what you want to do now is just hold Swordmaster down. And what it'll do is it'll use the Round Trip, but it will keep it on your back. And it will also destroy the summon swords he's using. So Cascade's alright to use here, if you want to use Cascade. Personally, it was something I was experimenting with. I would prefer to go up and combo him for more damage, but really, you can do a lot with Virgil. In fact, I've seen people really like real impact Virgil. And I reckon if you launched him, round tripped him, and then, you know, prepared the, sorry, destroy the real impact, I reckon it'd be pretty easy to do the real impact Virgil. But unfortunately, it's not something I have tested, and it's not something I will be testing. Because, I don't know, playing this again, and even playing with the Virgil DLC, which I don't really want to, again, talk about too much, because I know I said I might do a walkthrough for Virgil, but Virgil's so fucking ridiculously overpowered in that game. In this game. That I don't even think it'd be necessary, because if you want to get an easy Dante Must Die S rank achievement, just play Virgil. Which is unfortunate, because I thought they maybe would have balanced Virgil a bit more, but no, they didn't really give a shit. And it's quite lackluster, unfortunately, in my opinion, the DLC. Because it is just Devil May Cry 5 again. Because without Legendary Dark Knight, it's just I don't know, Virgil seems like a lot of overkill. Moving on. We're getting very close to his third phase. And what you'll notice now about his second phase, and you know, unlike his first phase, is that Virgil, while doing his judgment cut, will do multiple. And no matter what you do to Virgil in these, he will not stop. Once he starts, he will finish his judgment cut, so do not try and interrupt him. And if you want something easy to royal guard, see that drop down move is a helm breaker move? That's a very easy royal guard right there. And that can build up your royal guard. Now I don't use royal release, I don't even release the royal guard. The only purpose I used royal guard for in this video was to build style. Because once he gets past this phase, seldomly does Virgil ever use his summon swords again and fire them at you singularly. It's usually going to be a blister of swords or like summon swords above you, or some other variation. So right now I'm just kind of, you know, building up, because as you notice, I haven't really jumped in style in a while. I've been hovering around the BC type tier, but I'm banking on that first phase getting me all my points, because Virgil at the moment is incredibly aggressive, and it can be kind of hard to style on him. Now I'm up to S now, but because Virgil is so evasive, it can make it a bit difficult to, you know, keep the points up for new players, and even like people who know how Virgil works. The guys who can destroy Virgil, obviously they'll have no problem with this, but then again, they don't think they'd be watching this video anyway. They've probably S-ranked the game a dozen times already. And also, you'll notice Judgment Cut has a set height that it can go to for some weird reason. So what I would recommend, if you're at a position where you're uncomfortable, trick the Virgil and jump cancel him, and then jump in the air. While you're in the air, shoot Ebony and Ivory, and hopefully, in that time you'll outlast his Judgment Cut. And you can run around it, and you can trick through it, and you can do all sorts of things to the Judgment Cut. It doesn't really matter. But see, to be fair, Judgment Cut is very, very, you know, telegraphed. But look, you can't do anything about it now, because I'm too up in the air. So, just a wee bit of advice. I didn't really see it talked about either, that Virgil's Judgment Cut has a set limit, the height that it can go to. And I don't know why it has this set height, it's very strange. But I'm not complaining, because it makes him an incredibly easy to counter. Even that grab, Virgil so seldomly does that grab on like phase 3, but I was just getting it constantly. Well, like 2 or 3 times. And this is doppelganger. This is when it gets you can get into the danger zone, because you are fighting basically 2 Virgils, and the Judgment Cut spam is ridiculous in this. Because Virgil will fuck off to one of the ends of the arena, and his doppelganger will stick on you, and he'll just Judgment Cut you constantly. So it can be a bit tricky. So what I'm trying to do now is get round trip to actually hit the doppelganger without locking onto Virgil, but because again the lock on in this game is shit. And I don't know what it was. Before this playthrough I didn't think the lock on was that bad, but through this like walkthrough has just been camera fuck ups after camera fuck ups after camera fuck ups. You know, it's not been the best experience for Devil May Cry 5 for me. And I kinda realised here, there we go, it's actually hitting him. And there we go, it's destroyed. So now it's only Virgil phase 3, and he isn't really too different apart from the fact that he'll block. And unfortunately, I don't really do enough to break his block at any point. What I would recommend you do is Devil Trigger and then, you know, Real Impact once again, because the summon swords will keep him in place, and you maybe can land the Real Impact. Also, it seems if you fail to break his block, Virgil will do a lot of realm like judgment cuts, which is strange to say the least. And for Virgil, also try not to mix it up too much. You know, try and stick with what you're comfortable with. If you're not that confident, just stick with. In my opinion, Cerberus and Devil Sword Dante are the two best tools you can use in this fight. In fact, when I first beat this guy, I exclusively used Cerberus nearly. And I miss him. Unfortunately, he didn't block that, so he kept moving out of place. Because Virgil has a very weird pattern where if you hit him once, you can see him. He travels a short distance instead of staying where he is. Oh, I actually do break his block. But yeah, now we're in the we're pretty much in the end phase of Virgil. But once again, I would recommend only use the SDT when you're 100% sure you cannot retaliate. But I was waiting for an excuse to use it on him, and I think I get hit and panic using it. Because unfortunately right now I'm holding two buttons. So I'm kind of fat fingering the controller at the moment. When did I use this? God. I think I get hit by this, yeah. I thought, screw it, we'll try and tank his HP here. And what I do is I go into the stinger. Oh no, I just teleport straight to him and start doing the combos on him. And stinger him. I think it knocks him up, yep, up in the air. And then a judgment. So that was not a bad finish, I have to say. I really didn't think I'd get his HP pulled down that much, but I'm not complaining. But you'll see how many points we got just from guarding the swords, and I wouldn't say that was an exceptional fight. 5,207. That's just enough for us to get a rest ring. So I'll see you guys in the next video, which will be the final video. Take care now, guys.